You've heard of a word called Buddha? Hmm? If I say Buddha, probably you always think of Gautama the Buddha. Gautama is not the only Buddha. That's not his name. He became a Buddha. There have been thousands of Buddhas and there still are. What Buddha means is, Bu means buddhi or the intellect. Dha means dada, one who is above. One who is above his intellect is a Buddha. There were thousands of samanas walking the country. So Gautama became a samana. And even if you are not asking for food, you will walk near a town. So the food will come. But Gautama took it too seriously and just walked. He became all bones. Just bones and a bag of skin, like that he became. Then he came to a place where there was a river called Niranjana. Unfortunately, that river is gone now, no more river. Just about 18 to 20 inches of water, maybe moving little rapidly. He stepped into it, halfway down into the river, he did not have the energy to cross. There was a tree branch, a dead branch, he just held on to it. He doesn't have the strength to take the next step, but he is not the kind of man to let go. He held on, we don't know for how long, people say for a very long time. Maybe it was 2 minutes. When you're feeling so weak, those 2 minutes might have looked like many years. Then as he hung on, he just realized, what is it that I'm striving for? What is it I'm wandering the entire country, growing from school to school, learning this, learning that, what is it that I'm looking for? Then he realized, there's really nothing. This life is on. All I have to do is just take away the barriers which are not allowing me to experience this. When he realized that everything is within him, there's nowhere to search, suddenly he had the energy to take the next step and the next step. He crossed the river, came and sat down under that now very famous Bodhi tree, which has become more famous than the Buddha himself. A part of the tree, a remnant or a progeny of the tree still exists in Bodh Gaya. And he sat under the tree. The yellow robes were worn by Buddhist monks because the process that Gautama gave to the initial stage of Buddhist monks was very rudimentary process. He chose this process for the people because he did not need any preparation, but he wants to cause a wave of awareness. That means he doesn't stay in any town for more than a day. Continuously he is moving from village to village, town to town. There's no time to prepare people for any kind of practice. So the practice that he gives them is very rudimentary, but still he is converting them into monks. He's fixing their life, but not giving them enough preparatory steps. So he told them to wear the yellow robe, because yellow is the color of the Mooladhara. The most basic chakra in the body is Mooladhara. So he wants them to be stable. For a monk, the most important thing is he practices stability in his life. So he just wants them to be stable. They don't have to fly off into a blissful experience. They don't have to get enlightened right now. They don't have to get anywhere. They just have to learn to be stable because he is preparing soldiers to shake the world with awareness. So he told them to wear yellow robes. Later on, when they graduated to what he called as arhats, the arhats in the Buddhist tradition wore ochre robes, that is orange, as all the Indian sannyasis wear. But then after Gautama passed away, when they tried to spread the Buddhist way of life, people in India, there were at least 30% of the population were sannyasis or monks by nature. By culture, it was just like that. So this one more set of monks, they just accepted them and they became kind of part of them. They couldn't maintain a distinct identity. So from ochre, they shifted to a little more maroonish color, more for an identity's sake, because they would simply mix with all the other yogis and monks who were walking all over the place. So they wanted to set up a distinct identity, so they switched to a little maroonish color later on. But the basic Buddhist color is still yellow, because yellow is the color of the Mooladhara and it can be taught without preparation. No preparation, no teaching, no nothing, a simple process, just to stabilize and stabilize and stabilize. Such a process is taught when you are charting out a spiritual path for a few lifetimes. See, that tradition still continues in the Buddhist way of life. They keep coming back and coming back to do more work and more work because the process is such, it's of stabilization. If you look at any spiritual process anywhere on the planet, you will see it is not outside the 112 ways in which Shiva explored this. So comparing Gautama and Shiva is inappropriate. I have great respect for Gautama. He's a great being, no question. His work is phenomenal. He caused a huge spiritual wave, which is still on after 2,500 years. But it is not comparable. It is no way comparable. All we can say is, Shiva's work contains Gautama's work as a small element. It is less than 1% because out of 112, Gautama explored one. And the important thing is he marketed it well and he encouraged thousands of people to take the path. That's his success.